Наоборот, и, наоборот, так надо. К нам это на себе так говорит просто, да. Понимаете, Надя, просто надо.
Hi everybody, I'm Rick Beato. Mastering intervals, both hearing and singing, is one of the most difficult things for most musicians. I'm going to go over some basic principles and strategies that will help you quickly internalize all the different sets of intervals. We're going to begin with major and minor thirds and sixths. I'm going to go through some of the basic exercises that I like to use in teaching interval hearing and singing. It's coming up next. We're going to begin with how to learn to sing and hear major and minor thirds. I like to use both diminished and augmented triads to do this. Now, we know that augmented triads are built with two major thirds. For example, C augmented triad would be a C, E is a major third, and then E to G sharp is a major third. So an augmented triad is made up of two major thirds. So for the augmented triad, what I like to do is I like to start with the middle note, which would be, in this case, I'm using a C augmented chord, the note E, ba, ba. Is to practice your ascending third. Is to practice your descending third. Once you internalize the sound of that augmented chord, da, 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 da. So I'm using a symmetrical chord, which is an augmented chord. It's built with two major thirds, going to the middle note and splitting it, ascending and descending, so I can practice that same interval, so I can quickly hear it on both sides of it. The next thing you want to do is to start moving it scale-wise. I would start moving on, the next thing you want to do is to start moving it and splitting it, ascending and descending, so I can practice that same interval, so I can quickly hear it on both sides of it. The next thing you want to do is to start moving it scale-wise. I would start moving on each white note. So for example, I started with C augmented. The next one I'm going to go to is D augmented.
Наоборот, только не надо играть просто, да?
Da, chord. Da, da, da. Then you check. Da. So going above and below the center note of an augmented chord will help you learn how to hear major third, ascending and descending intervals. Next we go to the minor third, ascending and descending. And we're going to go to the other symmetrical chord, which is the diminished chord, which is made up of two minor thirds. Okay? So C diminished chord is made up of the notes C to E flat, which is a minor third, and then E flat to G flat is a minor third. So, is a C diminished chord, C, E flat, G flat. I take the middle note, da, 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 da. So, then, once again, we move up to the next scale degree, only with the white notes. Eventually we're going to do this chromatically, all these exercises. So I take the next diminished chord, I play the chord, I get the sound in my ear, da, 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 da. So the first time through, I just sing it. The second time through, I sing and play it and check it. And then you go to E diminished. Da, 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 da. So, above and below the center note. The next interval we're going to go to is actually the second. The major second, we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to play.
Очень смешная вещь есть, называется Алиэкспресс называется. Ну нормально. Да, ну чё. Я забыл, что я там что-то.
Two consecutive major seconds. In this case, it'll be C, D, E. So it's the first three notes of the C major scale. We're going to start with the middle note. Da, 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 check, da, okay, and then you move up. And I'm going to play the three notes. Now, these three notes are coming from the D major scale. So D, E, F sharp. And I'm going to go, hit the thing, so I'm going to hit the chord, get into my ear, play the center note. Da, 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 da. Okay? So that is going to be how we learn the major. Second, ascending and descending. What you want to do is go up. I would use a whole tone scale. So I'm going to go here. The next set of three notes would be E, F sharp, G sharp. Then I'm going to go. F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and then I'm going to go A flat, B flat, C, okay, and then B flat, C, D, and then then the next time around, you're going to take the 3 notes. If you go, you're going to go on D flat, E flat, and F, and then you're going to move up by whole steps. So you're going to use the 2 series of whole tone scales to work on your major second, ascending, and descending intervals. Okay, next is the minor second. The minor second's a little trickier because you really have to use your ear for this, and it's difficult to sing. I'm going to begin with a 3-note cluster. I'm going to go to the middle note. I'm going to listen to the cluster. Eventually, with these intervals, the thirds, the seconds, the fifths, fourths, sevenths, and sixths, we're going to go up chromatically into tricky to those half steps. Really hard to sing, especially when you're holding the note down to really nail it. You got to be able to hear those intervals incredibly.
Эй!
Quickly, like that, especially while the note is being played, because when you're hearing a melody, you're generally, if you're playing the melody by ear, you're actually playing a note while you're thinking of the next note. So that note is na. That note is sustaining when I'm thinking that in my head, and now I'm going to sing that next note, and I want to really stick it right on pitch. The next thing we're going to move to is the 5th interval. Now the 5th interval, I'm going to do a very similar thing. I'm going to use compound fifths in order to teach singing ascending and descending 5th intervals. So I'm going to start by playing a C compound 5th. C, G, D. If I
Что ты так много? Что он такой? Нет? Иди в другую куда-нибудь, в другую.
C, G, D. If I go to the middle note, G, right? So I'm hearing that. I play the chord.
Нет такого. То самое. Сейчас будет хорошо, да. Реклама-то алкоголизма. Это гомосечество нет, не знаю, что называть. Не знаю, просто так. Вот смотри, посмотришь какие-то мультфильмы, да, фильмы, да, понимаешь, да. Классно фильм. Потом ты понимаешь, как бы, да, он не понял, что не Женя такой, да. Ладно, что потому что я задачу понимаю. Ну, наоборот, да, да. Ну да.
Then you
That-
move
that
up to the
paradox
next one.
fine,
Actually, I'm
yeah.
going to move down here. Let me go down to the easier one to sing. So I'm going G, E, D, A, compound fifth. So it's G, E, D, A.
Ну я вот по себе, вот смотри. Ладно, я такой захотел женщину, чтобы так жениться. Что тебе надо для того, чтобы жениться, ну чтобы там это самое. Ну да, понимает, короче, да. То есть у мужчины только одно может быть нормально. Ну да, понимаю. Ну что значит на уме? Она тебя поняла просто. Ну в отношении женщин может быть, но понимаешь, какая ситуация? Да, то есть это, ну, это, кстати, смешно, да, интересно. Я имею в виду, да, да, понимаете. Да. Ну хорошо, временем ты заплатишь, а дальше что? Понимаешь? Работу потеряешь, репутацию, наверное, да, и так далее, да, понимаешь? Ну да, что может, ну, к примеру, это, ну да. Но я пока не имею такой, там, ну, меня не касается. Да. Ну вот в данном случае, да, наверное. Потому что, да, понимает, да, да. Вот я понял. Да. Да. Ну это тоже так вот, но вот надо только, да, 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 понял, да. Ладно, дети, не надо. Дети делают это все, дети делают, да. Да, наоборот, да. Ну
The
ничего,
middle note.
ничего не делать. Наживает, добра будет наживать. Наживать, да. Ничего не будет.
You follow?
Ничего, всем привет, да, понимаете?
Then check yourself. Then you move up to the next one. And you keep going. You can either go chromatically or just go through the white notes first and the black notes later. The faster you get at it, the faster you're going to be able to sight sing and hear these intervals. Fifths are actually particularly tricky for people, especially descending fifths seem to be difficult. I'm not sure why, probably from not practicing. The next thing we're going to do are compound fourths, okay? We call this a chordal voicing. So I'm going to use F chordal here just because I'm just put my hand down on it. So I'm going to take an F chordal voicing, which is two perfect fourths. So F to B flat is a perfect fourth, B flat to E flat is a perfect fourth. So the strategy here, once again, is take the middle note. Da, da, follow? Da, 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 da. That is really a great way. Move to the next one. Da, 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 da. So once you can just practice going through all the white notes, I can go here with F chordal, G chordal, A chordal, B chordal, C chordal, D chordal, E chordal, and then I'll use the chords off the black keys. Okay, major minor sixth. We're going to use this diminished and augmented triad, but we're going to use spread triads, and it's going to work in just the opposite way of using the close position augmented and diminished triads. Okay, if we take a C augmented triad, so I'm going to take, and I take the middle note and put it up the octave. So this is a C augmented spread triad. Okay, so I've got C, G sharp, E. Well, the thing about augmented triads, when they're in close position, meaning when all the notes are right next to each other in major thirds, they're in major third intervals. But when you put them in as a spread triad, you have two minor sixth intervals on each side. So, ba, ba. So the augmented triad, when it's in spread position, will help you learn your ascending and descending minor sixths. When it's in close position or root position, it helps you with ascending and descending major thirds. For minor sixths, use augmented. So then I'm going to go, let's say I go up to the next one, and I go the D spread triad. I take the middle note, F sharp, so I get D, F sharp, A sharp. Take the F sharp, put up the octave, and I go da, 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 da. You get really quick at it just by doing that. The center note will help you hear those intervals really quickly. So that's for minor sixth. Well, for the major sixth interval, ascending and descending, we're going to use diminished triad in spread position. It's not going to be the same one that we were using. So very simply, I'm going to take the note A, I'm going to play up a major sixth, would be F sharp. I'm going to go down a major sixth, which would be C. Okay. Now this is actually a spread triad, but it's actually F sharp diminished spread triad. The note A, but it's not going to be the same one that we were using. So very simply, I'm going to take the note A, I'm going to play up a major sixth, would be F sharp. I'm going to go down a major sixth, which would be C. Okay. Now this is actually a spread triad, but it's actually F sharp diminished spread triad. Okay. With the C, which is the flat 5, it's in the bass, so it's flat 5, third root. So that inversion of a spread triad, diminished triad, is the one that we're going to use. Okay. So I'm going to go.
Will never get more than 1,000 straight. Why? Their melodies and chord progressions are horrible. If you don't know music theory, struggle writing melodies, creating chords, click down below to get access to thousands of memorable melodies that sound like this.
Scale degree each note, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to go up to here. Okay. Da, 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 test. Da. So once again, move up by whole steps, or if you want to move up all the white notes. So I started with C as my lowest note. Then I could go with D as my lowest note. I could go with E as my lowest note on here. So I can start here on C as my lowest note, then move up one more whole step, move up another whole step, move up a half step, and I would just go up the white notes where the lowest note of the chord moves up the white notes and practice it that way first. And then you can move on the black notes. And then the next thing you do is just move it chromatically. So chromatically would be here, and then every note moves up as